If you look at the number of people who attended the Nizamuddin congregation, it's about 1,500 people, and 1,131 people have come back to Tamil Nadu, out of which 658 people have been tested. The remaining tests will be conducted, except for 100. The remaining of them are traced, and over 658 tests have been conducted, which is why the result so far is 190 of the 658 people who attended the Nizamuddin congregation have tested positive. The remaining samples have gone to the labs for testing, and the results will come out in a day or two. But the state government says that this is by far the highest spike, because in a day 110 cases were reported, and all the 110 cases have been linked to people who travelled to the national capital. So overall 190 people who travelled to Delhi have tested positive, and overall the total tally stands at 234, and that's a huge number. And the state government is saying that many more results are awaited. The numbers may increase. By the end of the day, we'll get another update from the state government depending on the remaining tests that were conducted. But Tamil Nadu government is saying that many people who had travelled to the national capital had identified themselves. So self-declaration helped them trace over 500 people yesterday. That's something that the state government said. So their test samples will now go to the lab, and those results are awaited. But the state government says all precautionary measures are in place, and they have also laid out a containment plan, which says that if someone is infected or tested positive within a radius of say 5 kilometers, each of the households will be visited by these officials who will ask them if they have symptoms, and depending on that they will take them to quarantine centers. So whoever has tested positive, people living in and around that particular resident will be approached by the officials to ensure that if anyone has symptoms, they will be taken to quarantine centers. But in Tamil Nadu, it's an alarming situation for now, as more test results are awaited, especially of those who had travelled for the Nizamuddin congregation. Maha?
Finally, they are taking it seriously. People are self-declaring. The numbers who came forward themselves, 500, about 500 of them, as Purnima Mulli is pointing out. So clearly people are understanding that this is really a serious situation that has emerged. Neetu, I want to come to you then. We've seen definitely more awareness in the state of Kerala. Have people over the last few days also self-declared if they've been to any place or they have been in contact with any person who's positive? Is that helping the situation better in Kerala?
Maha, as far as the Nizamuddin situation is concerned, what the authorities are saying is that there is not much of a concern in this stage, because they have already identified the people who have gone there and returned back. From Kerala, about 330 people had gone in two batches, basically. First was between 7 and 10, and the second batch was between 18 and 22. So as far as the first batch is concerned, only about 80 have returned to the state. And the authorities say that they have tracked almost all of them, and their incubation period is over. Basically, it's about 20 days right now. So it's not much of a concern, but still they are being put under home quarantine. About 150 people from the state who went for this did not return back. They went to different states like Rajasthan, Haryana, UP, Uttarakhand. So that is something which the authorities are keeping a track of. In the second batch, about 30 people returned to the state of Kerala. So they have also been identified. Yesterday, the Chief Minister said that 60 people have been put on quarantine who have returned from there, and it's not. There is nothing to worry, because even the health authorities were saying many who had returned or many who had to be quarantined were already in their list of home quarantine. So that would help. But definitely there is concern, because we saw in the past how people have been jumping this home quarantine, interacting with others. So that is a major concern. Now, as far as the state is concerned, 265 total cases. 237 are active cases. About 26 people have recovered, and 2 people have lost their lives. That is as far as the statistics is concerned. Now, in the Kasaragod border, there was an issue in the Karnataka-Kerala border where it was not being opened even for emergency vehicles like the ambulance. So yesterday, the Kerala High Court has come out with an order directing the central government to intervene in this and remove the blockade so that this medical emergency, people with medical emergency can travel to Mangalore.
All right. So this is something that the Kerala government at the moment wants, but Kerala has been very systematically been tracking and isolating or quarantining people who have either shown symptoms or have been in contact with any COVID-19 positive case. They've done it systematically, even in the case of Nizamuddin. So things seem to be pretty much under control. At least they've identified the people. Revati, is there a similar case there in Karnataka as well? Because Kerala is setting a good example of being able to identify immediately through the use of the list of names, and they are pretty much sorted in the sense that at least they know the people who attended that markas.
From the center on Tuesday evening. There were 1,500 people who may have attended this congregation or may have come in close proximity with people who have attended this congregation. Now, within a day, the Karnataka government was able to trace at least 800 of them. They are in the process of tracing 700 other people. Now, of these 800 people, 143 people were symptomatic. And these, the samples, the swabs of these people have been collected. But so far, we have not had any positive results with regards to this congregation. Now, we have to wait for those results to come, and also the tracing of the other 700 people. Now, so far as this congregation goes, there has been only one positive case in Karnataka. That is of a 60-year-old man who died on March 27th, and his 13-year-old son who was tested positive later. Now, other than this, Karnataka has not reported any positive cases so far, but with these sample collection and these tracing, we will know in the coming days what these numbers look like. Now, also, those people who have come within the last 14 days have been quarantined in government-run private public quarantine facilities, and those who have completed 14 days of quarantine have been advised to be home quarantine. So that way, the Karnataka government is not in a panic mode, but of course, with these numbers, with these large numbers, there is definitely that concern. And also remember, none of these people were in the category of those who needed to be home quarantined. They came back from Delhi. So without a foreign travel history or no contact history, all of these people went about their lives like any other person. So the number of people they've contacted is also very large. So the government, that is one big concern for these for the government, that one, you have those primary contacts of these 1,500 people, and also the secondary contacts, people who may have traveled with them, people they would have interacted with at different places as they went about their lives as usual. So until they tested positive, all of these, even the man who died on March 27th, it was only after he died that his test result was came out as positive. Now, another concern for Karnataka government is, of course, the cluster in Mysore as well, where at least 12 employees of a pharmaceutical company have been tested positive. Now, the first patient in this cluster does not have a foreign travel history or a contact history. Now, the whole more than 1,000 employees in this company have been home quarantined. The samples from these pharmaceutical companies also been sent for testing to see if some kind of import has led to this infection. But at this point of time, that is also a big concern for the government, because there is no, they do not have an idea of where exactly they contacted this virus from, because 12 employees of a company have tested positive so far, and the first person did not have a history, contact or foreign travel history. So two concerns at a time for Karnataka government. One is, of course, of the Delhi connection, and the second is of this cluster in Mysore.
That certainly is a matter of concern. If in Mysore there is no travel history that this entire case can be traced back to, and 12 people there already infected. Let me go across now to Karishma Hasnath, who's joining us from the northeast. She's in Guwahati. Karishma, in Assam, we have seen the state government constantly come out with circulars, with notices that people who have been to Delhi for that congregation should come and self-declare. Any success as far as the number of self-declarations are concerned?
Well, of course, yes. 91 people have self-declared. They had called up the state helpline number 104 and had shared their travel history. So far, we have 16 positive cases from Assam. In just a matter of 24 hours, the numbers have risen to 16. And from Barak Valley, from Brahmaputra Valley, from Upper and Lower Assam, these are the positive cases. And all these COVID-19 patients have taken part in the congregation at Nizamuddin. In Manipur, we also have a positive case. Same again, he has been part of the Tablighi Jamaat. So in Northeast, at the moment, we have 19 positive cases, and 17 of them were part of the congregation. Having said that, we had an initial list, the Assam government had an initial list of 456 people, who had called up and self-declared added to that list makes it 527. Of that, 327 people had returned to Assam, and the government acted swiftly. Overnight, they had identified 230 people. Some had their cell phones switched off, and some, as the Health Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma had pointed out yesterday, some of the family members were unwilling to cooperate, but the government, with the help of Assam police, would try to identify these people as well. So 327 people are, have returned to Assam between the period from March 3 to March 23. They have returned in batches. Some had taken a flight, some had undertaken a train journey. They were screened at the airport, but probably at that time they had not shown any symptoms. Now, with these cases going unnoticed, remember, Assam had not recorded a single positive case till March 31 when we had reports of the first positive case, and this person has a travel history to Nizamuddin, and he had returned on March 6. He had spent considerable time in Guwahati, had even attended a wedding, as ground sources tell us. And this person has underlying problems. He is suffering from leukemia and diabetes. So when he had shown symptoms and visited the primary health center, he was, diagnosed for cancer, because that was his underlying problem. So cases going unnoticed have also led to a real spurt in the incident. And the problem with the government as of now would be contact tracing, because it's a massive number. 527 from Assam is a massive number, and that is why the government is constantly appealing these people to come forward and identify themselves. Ground sources also tell us that some of them have gone into hiding. So it's a special request to those people. In fact, even from the community members and the imams of various masjids have given out notice advices asking these people, for the sake of the community, for the sake of the society, for the entire nation, to come forward and identify themselves.
Right.
Also, the government, there's no time to waste. So the government has taken adequate measures. Remember, we had a 15-day period where we had not reported a single positive case, and that gave the health department, the state health department, enough time to prepare. So the advanced planning was done. So we have about 5,000 quarantine facilities spread across the 33 districts, and the health minister apprised the media that the state government had procured about 9,000 PPEs and 80,000 N95 masks. So they seem to in a way, but the biggest problem would be contact tracing, and the sooner it's done, the better for all of us.
And that is one of the reasons why one needs to slow down the rate of infections, because that certainly gives more time to be able to pick up and ramp up your health facilities. And that is exactly what, as Karishma is pointing out, has happened in the northeast, specifically in Assam. They've been able to get the number of PPEs as well as other requirements like ventilators for the state as well.